Big Red Country has been waiting for. Spring in Nebraska. Warmer temps, flowers blooming, and Husker football. This year, there'll be a lot of new faces. Coach Mike Riley taking the field for the very first time in Memorial Stadium. It's the Husker Spring Game coming up next. Spring has sprung in Lincoln, Nebraska. Everything old is new again. And 70,000 Husker fans, they are here to bear witness. Memorial Stadium is buzzing, and with good reason. This afternoon, a first look at a brave new world. It's the 2015 Nebraska Red-White game. So glad you could join us on a Saturday afternoon from Lincoln alongside my partner Damon Benning. I am Eric Collins. It was 128 days ago that Mike Riley was announced as the new Husker head coach. And Damon, it's fair to say it's been 128 days of smiles.
Yeah, it has. It's been rainbows and butterflies, but as the kids at home like to say, it's about to get real. Some people call it a sickness. Some people call it an infatuation, but around here, it's just spring ball at the University of Nebraska.
Now, spring football is going to look a lot like real football. We're going to have actual hitting today. We're going to see tackling all the way to the ground. In total, we will have a running clock with 4 20-minute quarters. Teams divided into red and white, and don't be alarmed, some players actually may move from that red team to the white team and vice versa. Well, the guys presiding over the action, watching and see how these guys are progressing. The new coaching staff, you see there's a lot of guys who have come from Corvallis, Oregon, with Mike Riley here to Lincoln.
Absolutely. As we take a look, the head man here in Coach Riley brings back 2 quality coordinators. Danny Langsdorff, who has been affectionately dubbed the quarterback whisperer. He's in charge of leading a consistent offense. That's what the fans want to see. And then his counterpart, I guess I should say, on the defensive side today will be Mark Banker. He is a defensive coordinator that is known for what we call a spill defense. He wants to be aggressive and play fast. You stop the run en route to the quarterback for Coach Banker.
Well, lest we forget, last year there were some real positives. Nebraska finishing with 9 wins, but the problem area, tail end of the season, they finished the season with losses in 3 of their last 4 games, including the Holiday Bowl loss against the USC Trojans. All right, spinning it forward now. The third member of our crew is Larry Putney. Moments ago, he caught up with the man of the hour.
Thanks very much, Eric. Here with first-year Nebraska head football coach Mike Riley. Your first taste of a Memorial Stadium atmosphere. What do you think?
This is awesome. You know, it is a place where people obviously care a lot, and every game, whatever's going on, is an event. And I guess the spring game just epitomizes that. You know, because we're still preparing, we're still practicing, and there's going to be I don't know how many people here today, but there's a good crew.
With this kind of atmosphere and passion comes expectations. What do you believe those expectations to be, and how do you meet those?
Oh, you know, everybody knows the expectations at a place like this are to compete and win on a national level. So, you know, you don't get into this without that. Our expectations every year, though, in football are to win all the games and do everything that we possibly can. And so we're excited about the opportunity to get to do that at the University of Nebraska.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Let's do this. The weather's cooperating, 68 degrees and sunny. We will get it started in just a moment. The 2015 Nebraska Red-White game. Love Nebraska? Make it official. Join the Nebraska Alumni Association today at huskeralum.org. Getting ready to get started here in Lincoln. And some traditions, well, they never change, even for the spring game. Moments ago, the tunnel walk. Hundreds, thousands of Huskers over the years have done that. Damon Benning, you once did that for 5 years of your college experience.
It's a feeling like no other. The ability to walk the tunnel, you touch the horseshoe, and you're embraced by those that sleep, eat, and take in Nebraska football.
Well, if you sleep, eat, and take in Nebraska football, you're really going to enjoy the next couple of hours. We're going to get that first look at what this new-look Husker team is going to be all about. New philosophy, new guys in charge, new players coming in, and it all is going to be coming up from the vision of Mike Riley, a 61-year-old. product of Bear Bryant's Alabama Crimson Tide back in the early 70s. He's been all over. He's been a professional coach in Canada, the World League of American Football. He was the coach of the San Diego Chargers, and for many, many years, a known quantity out in the Pac-10 and Pac-12 with the Oregon State Beavers. But now his first go-around in the Big Ten and here at Nebraska with the Cornhuskers, and so far so good. He has made a wonderful first impression.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He's what we call very engaging, and he's disarming. He's been like an open book, and I think he's been something that the fans can gravitate towards. So we'll see what happens. You still got to win games, but if you rank the start, he's off to a good one.
Now, an inauspicious start to our spring game. The ball gets blown off the tee. Wind may be a slight factor today. No one's going to complain when you've got temperatures in the high 60s and nothing but sun, but there is a bit of wind.
Yeah, for those, don't adjust your televisions at home. This is just a scrimmage, but with 80,000 plus, you might want to adjust the television.
It's going to be Spencer Lindsay kicking it off. Last year's kickoff specialist, Mauro Bondi, is still with the program, but it's going to be Lindsay putting toe to leather. Kickoff. It's going to be fielded at the 5-yard line. This is Newby on the return. He's been around for a while. Nice spring so far for Terrell Newby. He is going to stay on the field more than likely and get the lion's share of the carries early for this red team.
It's going to be an interesting philosophy. This is not going to be one of those scrimmages where you try to get guys in and get guys out. They're full well into the evaluation period, and they haven't had a lot of live work. So you'll see guys go well in to the fourth quarter in this one. It is not equal opportunity for those trying to win a job today.
You know, the red team, for the most part, if you can generalize, is the first stringers and a lot of the second teamers as well. But there are guys playing on different sides of the ball, so you can't read too much into the red and the white. But there is two-year starting quarterback Tommy Armstrong Jr. under center to begin the game, and he hands it off to Newby. First carry of 2015 red-white game.
Yeah, if there's a guy, there's been no real separation Saturday yet, as they're only scrimmaging in the spring. But if there's a guy that they feel is the closest to being complete, it's Terrell Newby.
We should point out that the first three receivers that came out with the red team, familiar names: Brandon Riley, Jordan Westerkamp, and of course last year's breakout star DeMornay Pearson-L. And again, that three-receiver formation, and Armstrong Jr. sets up a little bit of an inside screen. Doesn't fool too many guys. It'll bring up a third down. What are you excited to see from Tommy Armstrong Jr. this afternoon, David?
Well, I think for me, it's something that I don't know how visible it will be to those at home, but it's his poise and his presence. He's the guy that's, for whatever the reason, been a little bit under the gun. You always hear about the next guy. Here at the University of Nebraska this spring, it's been A.J. Bush, it's been Zach Darlington. So for Tommy, it will be to stay within himself for this scrimmage.
Now, when the coaches do talk about Armstrong Jr., a lot of it has to do with his confidence level, with his experience level. But how well that translates into this new offensive system is yet to be figured out. Skill set wise, Armstrong Jr., how does he fit into what Langsdorf and his guys want to do on the offensive side?
Well, they like his size and they like his ability to get busy with his legs. He's got a big arm, and he's what Coach Riley called yesterday in our meetings a very natural thrower. He likes to watch fluidity of motion. So when he was talking to us about Tommy Armstrong, he said he's very easygoing with throwing the football. Now, with that comes he's going to need to adjust his velocity a little bit in his touch. That's been the thing. We've heard it all spring. It's touch, and it's the ability to check down. We'll see how he responds today.
And these are the other guys in the mix. We're going to see a lot of A.J. Bush. He is technically on the white side. Zach Darlington, both Bush and Darlington redshirt freshmen. Riker Fife has been around for a while, and Johnny Stanton trying to resurrect that rising star from a year ago.
Bush will probably be the first quarterback that will change jerseys. We'll see him with the red as well.
So after the timeout and a chance to talk to the coaching staff, Armstrong again out of the gun. And they keep it on the ground, and barreling forward for a first down is Newby. Are we surprised that it's been newbies so far right out of the chute as opposed to Amani Cross?
A little bit, I think, to some degree. But what happened is when you get a new staff, you get a tendency to get a clean slate. And they had the luxury of watching game film, what happened a year ago, and then you get a chance to see bodies live. And with that, they feel like newbies' game is pretty complete.
One thing that I took note of when we had a chance to talk to the staff yesterday is they'd be very happy having one guy carry the ball majority of the time. They don't necessarily need 7 or 8 guys carrying the ball. There's Westerkamp, his first catch of the spring game. He's been doing that for 3 years now. Armstrong and Westerkamp, good buddies on the field.
There, you take a look at the replay here. Watch the mechanics, the good square shoulders, and there's that rocket of an arm as he tosses out the 12-yard out route on the move. Something I think Nebraska fans, not too quick to fall in love. You got to show me, but on the first throw, well done getting squared.
Armstrong completing just 53% of his passes a year ago. Did pass for a decent amount of yards, but the completion percentage was not what the previous coaching staff would have loved. Speed sweep coming on the left end, and again, an opportunity for Pearson L to show what he can do in the open field.
Yeah, he's the guy that they raved about in our coaches meetings a year ago. A very familiar formation to those that watch practice. It's one in which they like to run the sweep out of, and it's a timing play. You might recognize it, but it's on you so quick, it's up to you to react. And Pearson L, his ability to get vertical in a hurry.
Did you see Andy Janovich doing what he does? Just getting out ahead.
he's a monster. I'm familiar with him at the high school level, and I've watched him early on in his career. He will hit whatever moves. You'll have no problems with that.
Westerkamp, the man in motion. They fake it to him. The inside handoff goes to Newby, and Newby, his best run of the afternoon. Newby looking a little bit like Amir Abdullah. Yeah. All the way down to the 18.
I really like the concept of this play. You get the fly sweep motion to give you the hint of misdirection. But watch Newby stay onside with his crease to the right of the center because Flo is going with fly motion. Good disciplines, good patience, great vision by Terrell Newby. Well designed. Watch T. Armstrong get down the field and throw a block here. Not afraid. Good size.
So inside the red zone. Opportunity to see what the offense may look like this year when they get close to the goal line. And again, Newby an opportunity. Just flipping the script a little bit. We're talking so much about the offense and the backs and the receivers and the quarterback. Some questions need to be answered about the linebacking core on this year's team. So we're going to be watching the linebackers both on the white side and on the red side to see who steps up.
Not a deep unit in terms of scholarship numbers, but they've got some top-end talent that I think has to finally show through. We've been waiting. Now you've got an opportunity. Guys like Dedrick Young, guys like Marcus Newby that you know can run and play. You're going to get a healthy Michael Rose-Ivy back. And then Banderas, who's perhaps playing with the most confidence, is going to be the man in the middle.
Jamal Turner is on the field for the first time, getting a do-over on his senior year after injuries a season ago. First carry for Byerson Cockrell. I apologize, that's Adam Taylor. Yes, Adam Taylor.
Yeah, from Katy, Texas. A lot was expected of this young man. He redshirted his first year, then broke his ankle a year ago. Has not had any real contact for quite some time.
Taylor stays in next to Armstrong Jr. And again, Taylor, an opportunity. He scores easily.
That's a great drive.
Little G scheme.
That's an outstanding drive. A good confidence builder right there if you're Nebraska. And take a look at the guy. Now, I tweeted this earlier, so I don't want to back pat, but there's a lot left to go. But watch Paul Thurston. He's a guy that has had an outstanding spring. He's playing center. He's grown up a little bit. And you watch him get out and pull on this outside zone. Watch 55 lead the way. That's a center for those of you watching at home. Good activity, good footwork. If I'm a tailback, I want to find that guy, get my hand on his hip.
So a good start for the red team. Touchdown scored by Adam Taylor, trying to come back from an ankle injury a year ago. With 14:42 remaining in our first quarter, let's head down in the field and check in with Larry Putney. Larry.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. I'm here with former Nebraska quarterback Prince Amukamara, now with the New York Giants. A little bit of a reunion down here for you and some of your old teammates, and you look like a fan down here taking pictures. Talk about this environment.
Spring game is always a great environment. It's like a game. It's like a game here, and the fans always show a lot of love, and a lot of former like to come back. So that's one of the reasons I like to come back.
You've come back. You've had an opportunity to meet with some of the new coaching staff. What do you think?
Yeah, I got the opportunity to meet Coach Riley. Coach Riley was very welcoming and very hospitable, and one of the things he told me was that this place is more mine than his. So just the humility that he shows me, it's always great to see a new coach have that, and I've heard people speak volumes about him. So I'm glad to have him here in Nebraska.
So, final questions about you. First of all, the bicep injury halfway through the season, you missed the second half. How are you feeling, and what do you think about the Giants' upcoming season?
Man, yeah, the bicep injury was tough. I was having one of my best years, had 3 picks in 8 games, and that was just a little setback, but I should be full speed by the time OTA start on the 20th, and I'm excited for us this year as a unit with how Odell Beckham arised as a rookie, and I know the sky's the limit for him, and if we could get Cruz back, we're going to be an unstoppable force on offense.
You were telling me Beckham's pretty easy to cover. Hey, thanks.
Very funny. I did not say that, but it's going to be a battle with me and him in training camp. I'm excited.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Larry. There's a little bit of fear right there. No, don't tell him I said that. No, Beckham's the real deal. On the return, Leroy Alexander gets a chance to touch the football. I've been to a lot of these spring games, and generally it's a fun atmosphere. Guys get a chance to come back. But I would say that probably more so than any other school that I've been to, Cornhusker players come back in droves.
Yeah, it's like one great big happy family. Guys just get along. There's so much, respect for those that have been there and done that. A lot of these guys grew up wanting to be like the next guy, so it makes good sense.
All right, all eyes right now on the white team quarterback, number 6, A.J. Bush. He's a left-hander, and they designed the rollout to the left side to get him comfortable. And his first pass is complete, so off to a good start.
Well, you have no idea. There's a couple of things in that. Not only does A.J. Bush complete his first pass, he's the guy that a lot of people want to see, but a tight end was the recipient of that pass.
Jared Blum, yes.
Been a lost start.
Coaching staff saying tight end is going to be in a very important position on the 2015 team. We'll see who steps up. Gain of 8 on the first pass by Bush. How has Bush looked to you? You've been to the majority of the practices this spring.
I think he's been outstanding thus far. I think, you obviously want some experience, but you take a look at his size, his arm strength. He's got this quiet confidence, and he's a student of the game. He had 6'4" and 200 and some odd pounds. He's the guy on the roster that's not like the others in terms of size and athleticism.
Just handed it off a moment ago to Amani Cross. Cross, obviously a ton of experience the last 3 years. Playing on the white team this afternoon. They give it to him again. No, design quarterback keeper. And really close to the first down marker goes Bush. There is a flag down on the field.
Yeah, he's a load as we take a look at the penalty. I think we're going to get a hold on the backside there. As Cockrell on the stop, a little slow to get up.
Offense for 83. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Jared Blum has had a little bit of a roller coaster here the first drive. He gets an 8-yard catch. Now gets caught for holding on the edge.
Yeah, he's got the hands just outside there, and then it's the ill-advised grab on one Michael Rose-Ivy.
I would imagine the coaching staff is going to focus more on the hold from Blum than on the catch he made a moment ago.
Absolutely. I'm going to stay in the positive.
So passing situation now for Bush. Little check down. And Cross refusing to go down. Brought down about 5 yards to go before he reaches the marker. Big picture stuff in terms of quarterbacks and understanding a new offense. Obviously a young guy in A.J. Bush, just a redshirt freshman. How far behind the 8 ball would he be from Tommy Armstrong Jr. in terms of picking up a new offense?
Well, if you're Tommy Armstrong, it's probably closer than you want it. But if you're A.J. Bush, you still got a lot of work to do. He's so athletic and he's so talented. But the thing that we're missing is he's the guy that we saw throwing on his own yesterday on an off day. His ability to want to get better is what we haven't been able to measure, but we know it's at a high level. So if you're Tommy Armstrong, you got to continue to do what you do without checking your rearview mirror. And if you're A.J. Bush, you got to continue on the come.
Well, you can see that Sam Foltz has got something on that helmet. There's a reason for that. This coaching staff has brought in this idea of these little small GoPro portable cameras that have been put on players throughout the course of spring, and that gives the coaching staff a better look at what the players are actually seeing. And another booming punt. Man, this Foltz has been terrific this spring.
This is a house call.
Pearson L. A lot of green in front of him. And Foltz brings him down with the GoPro on.
I tell you what, and Foltz, that's no accident. He's a great athlete. I tell you what, they better figure out with that GoPro is don't kick to that guy. As we take a look at the replay, watch him see the crease and be the crease. But I don't know, Eric, you might have been able to skirt through.
No.
Then Foltz, he's a good athlete. Watch him with the double leg takedown. They'll be talking to DPE about that one in the locker room. You can't allow punters to double leg you. Well, I tell you.
Pearson L. with 3 punt return touchdowns a year ago, but the punter brings him down.
Robert Kokish, a champion wrestler, would have been happy with that tackle. Double leg takedown in the open field. Come on, DPE.
All right, second offensive possession for the guys in red. Tommy Armstrong Jr. out of the gun. Newby back in the game. Throws that dead leg. Gets down to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I'm tough on the RBs. You want to see him put that one. Watch him put his left foot in the ground. Look at Thurston doing work up front. You want to see him, that move right there, get vertical. You got the first dead leg, then get back vertical. You left a few yards on the field, but that's a way to put yourself in a first and manageable here as you get inside the 20.
Another chance to evaluate that offensive line, a work in progress. A lot of graduations and injuries have affected things. The only guy guaranteed right now of being a starter is the left tackle Alex Lewis, the number 71. Armstrong has a man. A little bit too strong, looking for Brandon Riley again.
I tell you what, Riley is he is very athletic. The DB's found out in a hurry. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. He'll climb on your toes and be Louisiana by you in a second. He can flat out run.
It's the big guys up front, that offensive line trying to gel together and see who steps up here in the spring.
I like the nice little short set in the punch. The one thing that Coach Cavanaugh talked about is he really would like for these bigs to start to be aggressive again, to really punch and be able to have good hands.
Another quick hitter, and Westerkamp is mugged. Ball is loose. I'd assume that's a dead ball. Looked like an incompletion. Is it going to be ruled a lateral?
It's got to be an incompletion. And you saw number 2 right there in white making a play. They're going to call that a fumble? Was that picked? That never. Hey, leave that guy alone right there. See that, how the deuce got loose as we take a look at the replay here. He smells it. Watch him jump it. Yep, that hit the ground. Leroy Alexander is a guy with starts under his belt. He was suspended a year ago, but a Sunday type talent back there in the secondary. He's your classic runner hitter. He's had a chance to really study the game. This young man could easily be wearing a red jersey. He's a player.
So the red team stays on the field offensively. It's 3rd down and 10.
How'd you make out last night, Doug? Same old, same old.
Westerkamp and Pearson L. top of your screen. Pass sails high, looking for Brandon Riley. Let's head down sideline and check in again with Larry Putney. Larry.
Thanks, Eric. Down here with former Husker offensive lineman Jeremiah Searles. Jeremiah spent last season with the San Diego Chargers on the practice squad for a while. Called up late in the year, got your opportunity on national television. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, just got an opportunity to come and help the team and try and make a playoff run, which we didn't get a chance to, but got some great experience and hopefully set a good platform for going into this next year.
So you've been to a few practices this fall. Talk about the offensive linemen and what you've seen in practice and what you've seen from offensive line coach Mike Cavanaugh.
Yeah, I think that, they had a lot going on. A big change in coaches, a big change in coaching philosophies. So, it's been tough for them. But I went to the very first practice, And then I also went to some of the ones towards the end. They made a ton of strides. Guys like Alex Lewis look like he's going to be a solid guy to hold down there. Ryan Reeves. And I'm excited. Zach Stroop looks like he got really big in the offseason, so I'm excited to see what he's going to look like when he gets back. And then some young guys, too. Gerald Foster looks really well. Then I think Chongo can make a run at some starting time this year as well.
I saw you standing over there with 4 of your former teammates, all playing professional ball now. What was that conversation like?
Well, it's been great. We've all actually been working out here together. At one point, there was 6 of us all working out. It was myself, Spencer Long, Marcel Jones, Yoshi Hardrick, and Matt Slauson. And then Jake Cotton and Mike Mowdy were there working out. So, I mean, we had a really good crew that were all together working out. And it's just fun. I mean, we all kind of grew up here in a sense. And to come back and see it and remember, it wasn't that long ago that we were just doing this.
Jeremiah, great to see you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Larry, thanks so much. Well, the new offensive line coach is Mike Cavanaugh. We had a chance to ask him about his philosophy in dealing with big guys.
Yeah, he does not want to see guys.
Take pride in coaching technique, you know, and how you block and execute to me is really big. And, you know, along with that, I'm going to coach you pretty hard, obviously. And I kind of have that philosophy, coach you hard, love you hard. And so that's pretty much my philosophy on how I coach the O-line.
Yeah, Coach Cavanaugh does not want to see guys take it lying down. He is a physical, tough-minded kind of guy, and that's what he wants to see from his bigs. He is no nonsense.
There's Mike Cavanaugh.
He just looks like an O-line coach, doesn't he?
You know what? But it's not just Coach Riley. It seems like all these guys on his coaching staff smile a lot.
Well,
I realize it's spring. It's only April. But there's a lot of smiles.
I'm telling you, as a former guy that wants to win, I'm torn. I'm like, okay, yes, I know you're happy to be here, but I want to win. And then you sit down and you talk to them, and you're like, you know what? They're just good guys. They're just absolutely good guys.
Yeah, we had a chance to sit down with a couple of guys in the coaching staff yesterday, and it seemed like they were asking us as many questions as we were asking them. Real pleasant experience. 8 minutes remaining here in our first period. We'll have 4 20-minute periods, running clock. The clock will stop at timeouts, turnovers. Touchback. Second time we will see A.J. Bush and the White offense on the field.
Yes. Keep his composure here a little bit. You didn't get off to the kind of start you wanted to as an offensive unit, but the important thing for him is to not press. He understands press clippings. He can hear the murmurs, the whispers. He knows folks are expecting and hoping for good things. Plenty of time.
Mitch McCann in at the fullback spot. Monty Cross behind him as the I-back. Damon, how big of a deal? Obviously, Amir Abdullah was special, one of the all-time greats. But in terms of replacing him, how big of a deal is it going to be?
Well, that depends. It's kind of twofold. If you get a little bit better up front, you got a chance to not miss him near as much. But he was so talented and such a good back that he covered up for some deficiencies that would happen on offense. Oftentimes he'd make a guy miss a yard or 2 in the backfield before he got busy. With cleaner runs, you may not miss him as much, but a lot of it starts up front with the biggins.
Yeah, Abdullah was fun to watch. He didn't give up on a run ever.
He was spectacular every time he touched it.
A little bit off the mark. Pass intended for Tariq Allen, and well, Amir Abdullah still in town. This is before the game, and look at the line.
Yeah, that's
for
not
autographs.
That's not to get super or anything else. That is
Kenny Bell.
To get a signature of some guys that fans think a lot of. Some real good ambassadors with Jay Mitch and A Squared and Kenny Bell.
Amir Abdullah.
How about that for the epitome of buttoned up?
What are we talking about with him? Second round? Third round? What are you hearing?
I think he's the 3rd running back off the board. I'm hoping 2nd round.
Pass sails too high. Look like maybe a little bit of nerves right now, looking for Tolbert.
Yeah, plenty of real estate, too, for Jariah Tolbert, who, as we talked with Coach Langsdorff yesterday, he's probably the one, he and Tariq Allen, that aren't like the others. The guy that they want to be that boundary X receiver. that can work away from rolled coverage. He plays catch with Mr. Tolbert. He may very well still be running.
Are nerves an issue? Damon, you played in this game many times. Are nerves an issue when you're...
They are. I mean, they haven't been hit a ton this spring. He's just a pup. You got a ton of pressure from the fans are well aware of you. They know your shoe size. They know what classes you're going to. There's a lot of expected of these young men, but with time, it'll come. And what do you see? We see Sam Foltz talking to his unit up there. Do you know what he's saying? Don't make me go Robert Kokish on you again. Get down there and cover this guy. We know he's an award winner. He's a Jet Award winner, but lock him up.
Foltz going to come out again. Pearson L back deep. Feed him. That's going to let it roll dead. Johnny Rodgers giving Pearson L a little bit of advice. Main gist of it,
I tell you,
never fair catch the football.
Just roll it to him. Like hitting a 3-wood out of the sand. Just get that thing to skip along the ground if you can. I tell you, he's a lot like, it's funny you mentioned those two. Not only is he a Jet Award winner, but DPE, much like Johnny the Jet, had a knack for making punt returns in crucial situations. It wasn't, you're not up 30. A lot of his big returns were in times of need. You like guys that are clutch.
And we had an opportunity to listen in to a Mike Riley-led meeting earlier this week. Let's take a look.
Danny, if you want to move the hashes, you can, but if not, just put the ball down. Well, let's go back to Skelly for just a minute, Brian. That's a non-contact Skelly, a shadow. Don't contest the balls. We don't want people going down and jumble. We want to practice the Skelly and the team like we'll end up doing in the pregame warm-up, which we want to go fast, get some movement, and work your feet. Make it professional. Don't get to the point where it looks cool or you're loafing. Make it look good. Don't finish. And it's kind of like that fade drill we run when it's offensive emphasis. So.
This is a whole new frontier for Mike Riley. Last couple of years out at Oregon State just simply didn't have the numbers that he has access to here in Lincoln. And his spring ball game was generally just a scrimmage and drills, and not used to actually having enough bodies that you could actually play a game.
Yeah, and we were kind of taken aback too. He was talking to us and he said, I've never had a 2 deep, let alone a 3 deep. And how about the equation he gave us when we asked him about the concept of the split practice, and he says, let me talk to you a little bit about numbers. 11 times 2 is 22. 22 times 2 is 44. I do that twice a day. I'm evaluating 88 guys. I'm bound to find guys that can play.
Yeah, talk to people about what you saw in practice. You said you went to about 9 and 14 practices.
A lot
in interesting fashion.
A lot of split practices. So you had one group that would go first, and then the next group would stagger out after. Not stagger as in literal like lollygag on out there, but would come out as a staggered start time. And they would practice special teams together in the middle. He wasn't used to giving that many bodies a chance to work, so it gave him a chance to evaluate on the fly.
Kyron Williams meeting Armstrong Jr. with some force.
Yeah, Kyron Williams, he's going to have a chance to contend for starting. We saw that a lot. He's a guy that was a absolute nightmare in practice. He's big, he's rangy. He played special teams a year ago. He's extremely competitive too. He's going to have a chance to play for starting time.
Kyron Williams, Air Force prep, born in Shreveport, Louisiana. Looks the part, 6 feet, 185 pounds. Good form tackle, and it's going to force the punt team to come on.
Yeah, deceptively long arms for a guy that's not overly tall.
It's Chris Jones back deep to receive this punt.
Another talented returner.
Goes over the head of Jones and spins out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. Now Sam Foltz. Mike Riley talked about him, said, I've never been around a punter like this guy. He's got a chance to be elite.
Not only does he have a big leg, he's such a good athlete. He can throw a ball, he can run, he can catch, he can do it all. He's not your typical punter.
Well, don't tell that to Darren Erskine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, no offense to the guy that you were showcasing last night on the broadcast. No offense to D-Stat. doesn't even look like a punter. Not that I know what a punter looks like.
Special teams actually is in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, with Coach Reed.
Yeah, right now you got a quality kicker in Fultz. You got a quality returning place kicker in Brown. Obviously, Pearson, L, the return game. It's a lot to work with.
It is, and special teams has a chance to truly return to being specialists as opposed to just kicking game.
Bush, a little bit off the mark here. He has struggled with accuracy now in his first 3 possessions with that white sign.
Yeah, the double sit down or the double hitch route, I think he was in between going to the inside or the outside. Receiver kind of threw it in the middle. Both guys running over 5-yard stops.
When does A.J. Bush need to be worried about his opportunities evaporating? How much do you expect him to play this afternoon?
This will go long into the scrimmage. They need a good hard look. And Coach Langsdorff hinted, the clock says 4 quarters, but it doesn't necessarily mean equal opportunities for my quarterbacks.
Jariah Tolbert catches that one. Tolbert's a guy who has stood out over the 14 spring practices.
Yeah, big rangy guy. I alluded to earlier. He and Tariq Allen, and maybe even a little bit of Lane Hovey, the guys, bigger, rangier receivers that can play that that boundary receiver that we talked about earlier. Going to get some single coverage.
Lane Hovey on the field right now. On 3rd down, going nowhere, is Mikhail Wilbon, kid out of Chicago. Wilbon has impressed over the last couple of weeks.
Big fan of his running style. He's a young guy. I know these guys at home are laughing at me. It's not just because he wears 21, but I just like the fact that he's constantly trying to get vertical. He's very good in small spaces. He's just a pup, so it'll come. And it doesn't help him that he's going against 2 monsters in the middle of that red defense.
Greg McMullen, a job well done. All right, we've got a little bit more information. I was incorrect moments ago when I was mentioning the GoPro. That is something that's been used by the coaching staff, but that little blue beanie just means that Fultz is technically on the white team right now, even though he is wearing a red jersey.
He and the snapper will both be designated with those.
But we will have some GoPro footage later on in the second half, we hope.
If they don't cover this guy soon enough, they'll be helping DPE GoPro.
Pearson held a fair catch.
Rare. Listen, that's a win if you're Fultz. That's going to be a 39-yard net, 40-yard net. You'll take that number as well, and no return. That's what you want when you're kicking to that guy in the wind. You blink and it's over.
So Tommy Armstrong Jr. is not coming out with the red side here to begin this drive. It's going to be Zach Darlington for the first time. Darlington, redshirt freshman from Apopka, Florida, was a big-time winner as a high school player, getting an opportunity, and he hands it off first chance he gets. Adam Taylor scored a touchdown a moment ago. He has the carry, and more than likely, that'll be the final play of period number 1.
That's almost stealing for this red offense to run the little backside play against this front. Your center's uncovered. Thurston will be allowed to pull. It'll almost be stealing if they choose to stay with this.
Well, we've made it through 1 period here from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Tommy Armstrong Jr. and the Cornhuskers feeling their way under a new coaching staff. The second quarter will get underway in a moment.
We now move ahead in the action.
Halftime here, red-white game in Lincoln, Nebraska. We played 40 minutes. We still have 40 minutes remaining. Joined now by Tom Dienhart. He is the BTN.com senior writer. And if you have any questions about what's going on football-wise in the conference basketball, he's got you covered. I want to ask you, Mike Riley, seems like everything has just been going smoothly on his watch. Your interaction with him so far in the first 4 months he's been in town, and your impressions?
Yeah, very affable. I got a chance to talk to him earlier this week, and I tell you what, Mike Riley is genuine. He really meets the world with an open hand. I tell you what, the one thing he stressed to me more than anything, he wants this to be a program of inclusion. He wants the last guy on the roster to feel as valuable as the first guy on the roster. That was something he told me Bear Bryant instilled in him when he was a player for Bear Bryant back in the 70s.
I think it's a wonderful story. He mentioned that to me when I had a chance to talk to him, and he's familiar with huge rosters of what he had back in the 70s playing for Alabama and Bear Bryant. He's going to have a huge roster here with all the walk-ons and the tradition here at Nebraska.
Exactly.
In terms of challenges, though, it's not always going to be a cakewalk for Mike Riley and his staff. What will be the challenges getting ready for this year?
He's got some challenges personnel-wise, obviously. The offensive line is very much a work in progress. He's got a solid left tackle in Alex Lewis, but again, a lot of questions dot that line. The linebacking core is a big issue. They need to work on some depth there. And then I think keep an eye on the quarterback spot today. We've seen some good things and some bad things. Tommy Armstrong's the guy without a doubt. But again, I think he's under pressure to adapt to this pro-style offense.
In terms of storylines as we head into the summer, in terms of guys and positions of import that need to improve or are already pretty strong, what are you looking at right now for Nebraska?
Well, Nebraska, let's see how the running backs continue to develop. They have some good answers in Amani Cross. Obviously, Adam Taylor's done some good things as well. But Amir Abdullah leaves some big shoes to fill in Lincoln, Nebraska. Wide receiving core, of course, Kenny Bell is gone. I like the depth they have here as well. Jordan Westerkamp, DeMornay Pearson-L, they've got some nice building blocks there. Guys who can make plays down the field. And then, defensively, who's going to rush the passer? Is there a Randy Gregory on this roster? Probably not. They may have to blitz more to get a consistent pass rush, but again, who's going to step up at defensive end for this team?
And I want to get one big picture question from you. You've been around, you've seen a lot of spring games, you've been to a ton of practices. What have you noticed around the conference? Actually, I want to ask you specifically about Michigan. You were up in Michigan a couple of weeks ago. What have you noticed about Jim Harbaugh and his guys?
Yeah, got a chance to go to Ann Arbor last week. 60,000 people in the big house. Everybody's excited about the Harbaugh era. With good measure, good reason. He's really brought a lot of excitement and energy there. He's brought a swagger that they need. I think Michigan's a team that can win 7 or 8 games next year, Eric. Questions offensively for them, of course, quarterback. Jake Rudock's going to arrive from Iowa as a transfer. He should help that position. I think the defense is very good. They can win some ball games with that D. But again, that Big Ten East, it's so tough when you got Michigan State, you got Ohio State, you got James Franklin at Penn State. So it's a big mountain to climb in the Big Ten East. But Harbaugh's brought swagger to Ann Arbor, and he's going to continue to bring talent there as well.
Tom Diener, thank you so much for your expertise. Love talking football in the spring.
Likewise, likewise.
All right, it's halftime here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Don't go anywhere. We will continue the red-white experience. A lot of really wonderful, noble people getting honored before the game, and all smiles, and why not? Brooke Berger, a legend in Nebraska football lore.
Yeah, number 18, rocking right next to me. Super guy. Good player, better person.
Middle of your screen, Mike Riley. He had a special week. He had a visitor come in. His former Oregon State quarterback, Sean Mannion, was here for the last couple of days. We had a chance to watch their interaction.
I know, like, one thing that everyone's been saying, especially about, like, your rookie years, it's like the longest year of your life because you play a full season in college and then you have a full off season at the combine and all that stuff.
Yeah, you started right away, right?
Right, and then your full rookie year, so really it's like you're playing football for like 18 months straight. I know, like Jordan was saying, Blake Bortles' arm by the end of the year, he said it was just hanging.
Really?
And he was through a ton of stuff.
Pretty cool that Sean Mannion would follow his former head coach all the way here to Lincoln. Let's go down to the field and check in with Larry Putnam.
Yeah, you know, Eric, he holds 18 different passing records at Oregon State, does Sean Mannion, and here he is 2 weeks away from maybe one of the biggest days in his life, the NFL draft, where he's projected to be maybe a 4th, 5th rounder. Some have him going as high as 3rd, but he takes time out to come to Lincoln, Nebraska to visit his former head coach, Mike Riley. Many people say that speaks volumes to the type of coach that Mike Riley is, the type of relationship that he creates with his players. I just moments ago chatted with another of his former players down here wearing Oregon State Beaver attire, and he said, "Where's Coach Riley? I need to talk to him. He doesn't even know I'm here." That kind of relationship that Riley creates with his players.
Wow, that's good stuff, Larry. Someone using money out of their own pocket to come to Lincoln, Nebraska and support his former coach. Good stuff. We'll take another quick timeout. We come back, we'll get our second half underway here in Lincoln. Football to that man, Johnny Rodgers. He can still take it to the house on you. Heisman Trophy Award winner Johnny Rodgers, always closely associated with the program. Was in practice last couple of weeks, had conversations with Pearson-L. His advice, never there. Catch the football. Don't do it.
Yeah, Johnny is something else. You get his best and you get whatever he's thinking. He's the consummate Nebraska ambassador. How about that gear? Would you borrow one of those coats?
That's pretty cool.
Like that?
That actually may be his official Letterman's jacket from the early 70s.
Could you rock that in Eastern Cleveland? Would they allow that?
No doubt about it. I tell people that it's Johnny Rodgers, and I'd be lauded for that. Getting ready to start our second half. The guys making that trip through the tunnel once again. We will have second half play from Memorial Stadium. Well, we just said everyone wants a picture of Johnny Rodgers. That includes Mike Riley, the new head coach for the Cornhuskers, mugging for the camera with a Heisman Trophy Award winner.
Johnny looks like he just turned about 41. I don't know if it's the antioxidants. Is it the prune juice? Is it the cranberry juice? Johnny just stays so tight.
How many pictures do you have in your collection with Johnny Rodgers?
That's funny you should ask. I have one.
Only one.
But it's my kiddos. He made them do the proverbial Heisman pose. And it is an absolute doozy. So he takes good care of him. He usually makes it. That's Rich Glover right there. I mean, that's the guy.
Oh, sure.
That's the legend.
And look at that. We talked about all these guys who are still in shape. Glover looks tough.
Glover, well, you had to be playing D-line at like 220. He's a big guy back then. So just a lot of the former guys. Jamie Williams there, Johnny Rodgers, Zach Bowman.
When are things going to get difficult for Mike Riley? Obviously, being a head coach of the Big Ten. Yeah, it's not an easy job.
No.
Very few men in this world can do it. But Mike Riley right now has been operating with a smile. When do things get really serious for him?
Well, I tell you, if Nebraska's got to play in such a way early on, and you got to get the opener. You're at home, and it has to be something that you can accomplish.
And September 5, it all gets started in earnest. Right here at Memorial Stadium, the Cougars of Brigham Young will meet against Nebraska for the first time in each school's history. It's surprising to me that BYU and Nebraska have never met on a football field.
Yeah, well, and I'm really surprised considering BYU appears to be taking on all comers. Their schedule is a gauntlet. They have not been afraid to schedule, and they're going to open up in Lincoln on the road. Tough sledding, but a very tricky opener, especially if Taysom Hill is healthy.
I like the schedule this year for Nebraska in the non-conference. You've got BYU, you got South Alabama, then on the road against Miami, and then home again against Southern Mississippi for the homecoming game before the Big Ten slate starts. Yeah, A.J. Bush still in the game at quarterback for the White Sox.
He needs reps, and they roll him out early, trying to get him out of the pocket with a little bit of his athleticism, and is still having a hard time finding the market. And it's kind of what we've heard. Tremendous athlete, very good upside, high ceiling, but still trying to become polished as a passer.
Mikhail Wilbon, kid out of Chicago, has the football, shows some good Zuzu, gets into the second level, and look at Wilbon go! Finally pushed out of bounds, but his most impressive run. This kid is shifty. The coaching staff thinks he's got a chance to be real good.
Take a look at the 1 foot in the ground, back vertical. That's what I like. He's very good in small spaces. He just needs a little confidence. He dealt guys fits on the scout team last year. But look at him always looking for vertical daylight. A little shake and bake, shake me up. Malik Collins, as Vincent Valentine still looking for Mikhail Wilbon in the backfield. You blink, you'll miss you.
Wilbon still in the game, and they give it to him again, and this time has to be patient to get his 2, maybe 3 yards. All right, take a look at the schedule. This is the non-conference portion. You got BYU and South Alabama here at home, and then a road game against Miami down in Coral Gables.
Yeah, it's tricky. You got spread. Then you get Brad Cayenne. Who knows what you're going to get from Southern Miss, but a healthy Taysom Hill deals you fit. South Alabama will spread you all over the place. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Banker wants to attack those two opponents.
Now, the conference schedule is also interesting as well. With 14 teams now in the Big Ten, you're going to miss some teams on the other side. And this year, Nebraska is going to miss Ohio State. They're going to miss Penn State. And they're not going to play Jim Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines. These are the 8 conference games that they have lined up.
That's that unintended consequence of getting a schedule that does not include Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State for Coach Riley. The pressure is low-key ramped up knowing you got your toughies at home.
New runner in the game. This is Jordan Nelson. Bush wants to throw, gets swarmed and brought down. There is a flag down. But good penetration to get inside and bring him down.
And meet you at the quarterback. We're probably going to get a hold there. The guard-center guard combo had a little collapse going on.
Personal foul. Illegal helmet contact.
Right in the midst
defense
of that penetration.
Number 95. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Called it on Jack Gangwish.
Yeah, and what happened was he felt like he was being grabbed. So on the initial pass rush, you see the open hand come right underneath the face mat. There it is. He straightens that arm out, and there goes the helmet. Easy call right there.
Gangwish expected to be one of the starters at end. There's big Malik Collins. I wonder about the lack of knee pads. He's got those pants hiked up to mid-thigh. That can't be a lot of fun.
He's a terror. You getting anywhere near there?
And continues with a tradition of wrestlers turned defensive linemen at Nebraska. Bush wants to throw. Give me a scouting report on what you've seen out of A.J. Bush. We don't have a 2 deep. It hasn't been released by the coaching staff, but it's thought that Bush would be the number 2.
I think, yep, going in, that was kind of the illusion we got that if a game started tomorrow, it would be between he and Fife. We knew that Darlington was on the come, but we wanted to see today. If I'm Bush, it's 2 things. Number 1, it's my footwork. My hips and my feet will take me to the football. He's got that long delivery. There's a lot of room for error the more things that you have happen on the release.
Catch is made by Lane Hovey. And the drive continues for the white team. Let's head down to Larry. Larry Putney, what's going on?
Hey, thanks, Eric. Down here with former Husker quarterback Jamal Lord. Many people remember Jamal from that phenomenal game down at Texas A&M. I don't know, do you have the best memory
of the A&M game? Just winning. That was a rough season for us, you know what I mean? And to come out with that game on the road in the hostile environment, it was a great victory for the Huskers back. Was that 0-2? Yeah, it was a good game for the Huskers.
Jamal, what are you up to now?
Right now, I'm in North Dakota. I'm working in the oil fields up there, you know what I mean? It's a job. I'm working, so staying busy, staying healthy at the same time, so yeah.
So why was it important for you to come back here?
Well, I'm a Husker fan. I'm a Husker fan. This is, I mean, this is family. This is our family, and you can't get rid of family. You don't get rid of family, so I show my support for Coach Riley and the team.
Jamal, great to see you again.
Good to see you too, so y'all be safe.
Had one of the great rushing years ever for a Nebraska quarterback, Jamal Lord.
He was quicksilver, no doubt about that. Good to see Jamal Lord back. And nice catch made there by Tariq Allen.
The guy that we wanted to spotlight before the game started in Tariq Allen. But I'll say this quickly about Jamal Lord. Perhaps the most underappreciated quarterback to ever take snaps at the University of Nebraska. He is an interception away from being held in much higher regard if he closes out that game against Texas. It was arguably the single best performance that any quarterback had to that point at the University of Nebraska. Very underappreciated.
Now, this is the best drive for the white side, and it's good news for A.J. Bush. He sputtered a bit in the first half, maybe a little bit more comfortable with the butterflies here in the second half. Bush wiggles down to the 6-yard line.
I tell you one thing, if you want to be critical thus far of what the red defense has been able to do, I think fitness is going to be something that they can attack and be aggressive with as they head into fall camp. Getting in football shape. Now you figured out how to go through winter conditioning, how you want to practice. Now is the next step. How finely conditioned can you be?
Josh Banderas wearing number 25 today. Had been number 52 in years past. He's the middle backer. 3rd down and a flag comes down. It's going to go against the offense.
And that's Neville. That's his second
77. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
There are things that can keep you from playing. It is mental errors. Those are what we call unforced errors for those of you that like to swing a racket.
Neville is 6'9", 310 pounds.
Tremendous frame. You can do a lot with that. Can't coach
Piece
that.
of play. Oh, yeah.
Watch Tolbert at the top of the screen here. Single coverage in a big body.
Looking that way. And the pass juggled and dropped. How'd you know that Jeriah Tolbert was the guy who was going to be in the crosshair?
Good angle. He's a favorite of A.J. Bush. I've seen them work this play in practice. He's got to get that ball a little higher, give his guy a chance to make a play. See, we talk about the footwork. He threw that almost flat foot. He kind of just flicked it with his wrist. Give yourself a chance with some velocity if you step into the throw.
Pretty good instincts and ball skills there, Trey Mosley.
Yeah, he's
was the defender in coverage.
This guy has been like, they ought to get him for grand larceny as much as he's been robbing passes this spring.
4th down opportunity for Bush. Wants to run a bit. Maybe not a great decision to try and get it in there. Instead of throwing the football, and it'll be turned over on downs. Jonathan Rose in the mix.
Gangwish has been an absolute nightmare. Look at his pads. They still don't fit right. That's from being grabbed. He has been relentless today. Get Coley on the spot again. Cleaning it up. Nebraska hustling to the football a little bit.
Damon, of all the guys that are not playing today, the guys who we haven't called because of injuries that banged up a little bit, guys like Ethan Carter at tight end, or Charles Jackson, one of the DBs, Daniel Davey, one of the corners, Nate Gary, safety banged up, not playing. Anyone that we're not seeing today that you feel has got a chance to be much improved come fall?
All 4 of those guys could start. You had Ethan Carter to that mix, and Zach Sterup. Zach Sterup is the guy that you didn't mention that's not playing, that has, not only is he playing for a job, but I think his room for improvement is pretty great. He's a starter from a year ago. I think folks would like to see him solidify that spot. And maybe even a Ryan Reeves as well. They've got some quality guys, but if you go through that laundry list that aren't taking snaps today, they can help you contribute in the fall.
Adam Taylor with that carry. You've seen a lot of Adam Taylor score a touchdown in our first period. I know there's no 2 deep out, no depth chart, but where would you put the hierarchy of running backs looking to replace Amir Abdullah? Give me your top 3 or 4 right now from what you've seen in spring practice.
As we see Pearson crease one on the little fly sweep. Nice to see them go back to that. For me, if I had to start the game tomorrow, I'm going with Newby,
Terrell Newby,
then Taylor, then Wilbon.
Cross. Really? So Cross is 4.
And it's not an indictment necessarily as much as I think I have an idea of what Nebraska wants to do offensively, and so I think I would start in that order.
Jamal Turner back on the field. He's the man in motion, top of your screen. Turner coming back from a significant injury a year ago. He impressed in the first half. Westerkamp in motion, and the give to Taylor. Well, lest we forget, Amir Abdullah, one of the greatest to ever play for the Cornhuskers.
Take a look at the things that made him great. Tremendous balance and a whole lot of want to. When you combine that with talent, you get A squared.
You see those highlights, but to me, one of the smaller things that he did was one of the biggest things in program history for one of the biggest plays in program history. The Jordan Westerkamp catch, the Hail Mary, a little bit too long looking for Riley. That was set up. The game against Northwestern on this field 2 years ago, it was set up. Amir Abdullah refused to go down. If he's tackled, the game's over, but he refused to go down, fought for the first down, and that allowed Kellogg to find Westerkamp on the Hail Mary. But Abdullah's work and his guts and his want to kept the game alive.
He's the guy that you don't want to play with if you're an opponent. You want to play with if you're a teammate. He's got great athleticism, but his want to. If you play against that guy, you know he's not playing until you hear that final whistle.
It's going to be interesting come fall. Talk about running backs in the conference. Last year was such a great year with guys like Coleman at Indiana, and Ohio State Ezekiel Elliott, Abdullah, of course, just wonderful players. That Actually, it was Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio State, was probably the guy who was under the radar until the postseason.
You got Minnesota had David Cobb was a tough tailback. Melvin Gordon was a great tailback. All those guys are like top 4-round type tailbacks. And it was a conference that helped restore order. We heard all the rhetoric. Well, until you get a big-time quarterback, that conference isn't going to be relevant. The Big Ten, continuing to be the Big Ten, did it with running backs. It didn't matter who played quarterback if you're at Ohio State.
We still have 8:37 remaining in our third period. The clock has stopped temporarily.
Yeah, right there.
Down start to the year. Nebraska baseball had been going great guns until the last week and a half.
It hadn't been able to get anybody out. That pitching staff hadn't had a pulse in Minnesota. And all of a sudden they find a way to win a low-scoring baseball game, which isn't the way that you thought Nebraska could lose. Really needed a big win. I feel like they need to get the brooms out this weekend.
Good pitching catch. Is that Hovey?
It is. There's that guy. Big boy arm from A.J. Bush as well. Can make all the throws. Watch the mechanics here on this one. Step, drive, deliver. Finished on balance, and it's no coincidence. It's an accurate throw.
Hovey's been a big play type of guy in spring practice. Picks up a big chunk of yards. He can get deep on you.
He's a big boy. Great zone runner right here.
Jordan Nelson scoops to the outside.
Well aware.
But I'm telling you, this Whiteside has been the most impressive offensively here in the second half.
We're very familiar with Jordan Nelson, from an Omaha Burke product, a local kid, coached against him, got a chance to watch him grow up. His brother is a quarterback for me at Omaha North. He can move. He's got great vision and subtle quickness. He's one great big muscle, so he's had a hard time with pulls and groin injuries, but he's a very gifted runner, especially in the zone game.
Another chance for Nelson, this time not nearly as productive.
Jordan Nelson, the ball carrier.
Those big guys still in the game. Greg McMullen, part of that tackle.
It's kind of been a weird spring game too with the tailbacks. Guys like Graham Nabity, we've only seen in flashes, and we've seen what a good spring he was having. Newbie with the brief appearance early, haven't seen much late. Hard to get into a rhythm with all these tailbacks. They got tremendous depth.
Gangwish, Valentine, McMullen. All on the floor, on the field right now with Malik Collins. Obviously, you want to get guys reps, but you also want to keep guys healthy. Are you surprised that these guys are going to be counted on that front wall defensively? Mike Riley's playing them so far through the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, and we kind of got that sense, didn't we? Coach Banker was almost offended when we said, hey, you know what? Who we need to be watching after we see the big guys, and he's to say they're going to play now. We haven't had a lot of live work. We need to get a good look at these guys with live, with a lot of live bodies, and we're like, all right, let the big fellas play.
How do you see the linebacking spot shaking out when we get to the fall? Obviously, we know Banderas is going to be there. Oh, almost a pick 6. Good break on the ball by Jonathan Rose, who's flashed here this afternoon.
Yeah, and he was unsolicited. His name was referenced yesterday as a guy that if he's ready to play, they expect big things from him. Top talent. With that linebacking core, I think you got a 5-man rotation. It'll be Bando in the middle. It'll be Rose Ivy playing the same, and it'll be some combination of Newbie and Dedrick Young that I think will patrol that.
Dedrick Young is the guy who is just coming in as a freshman.
Yes, I think he's going to have a chance to play. Going to have a chance to play.
We talked so much about the offense and the different philosophy brought in by the new coaching staff. Great pressure from both ends. McMullen, Valentine meeting at the quarterback. Defensively, how different are the concepts going to be for what this new coaching staff was implementing from what we've seen in years past?
Well, we take a look at the laundry list of new coaches. Coach Banker broke it down yesterday, teaching guys now to get vertical and to be aggressive. 2 reads. If their head gets down, you get down. You read the V of the neck. If not, stop the run, making the play en route to the quarterback, which is vastly different from a lot of the D-line play that we've seen the past couple of years, where they played a lot more on the line of scrimmage. He wants to get back to being aggressive and getting vertical.
Well, let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Here is Coach Banker talking about his defensive philosophy.
You know, we've been more of a pressure team. Rather than sit back on your heels, being on the defensive, I think a lot of players like that. Again, philosophically, teach more about an opponent's offense as opposed to just your defense. We want to make ours fairly fundamental, rudimentary, so the players aren't so much thinking about what they have to do responsibility-wise as opposed to react what they see on the offensive side, and that's why we want to, teach the offensive scheme to them so that they can have a jump when the ball's finally snapped.
Good stuff. That pitch and catch. Armstrong finding Sam Cotton. Cotton having just 3 catches a year ago. That'll probably change this year. The tight end is going to be an important part of the offense in this year's scheme.
They like Janovich in that hybrid H-back role. They like Cotton. They like Carter. They like McNitt. They like Foster. That's 6.
Touchdown for the Red Sides. DeMornay, Pearson, L.
Once he broke that first tackle, no chance anyone's going to catch up to him.
Yeah, and no disrespect to Joshua Kalu, who's trying to make that play in space, but that's arguably the best guy in the country in space, in DPE. The out route delivered on time. Easy pitch and catch. See you 6 later. Coming out of the break, there's the catch. You gamble as a DB, you better come up 7 or 11.
3rd touchdown for the Red Side. Taylor, Turner, and now Pearson L.
4:36 remaining in our 3rd period. Chance for everyone to catch their breath a little bit. The offense for both sides improving here in the 2nd half. Touchdown scored by the Red Side just a moment ago. We've had touchdowns by Adam Taylor, Jamal Turner just a moment ago. Pearson L. scoring a touchdown. The only score for the White Side. It's kind of a kooky play. Final play of the 1st half. Tommy Armstrong took a knee in his own end zone. A safety.
Still trying to, I hope he has a good story for that, because as much chuckling and laughing and joking as he was doing with Kyron Williams about it, you get the sense that it was planned, but for what reason? That was Dylan Utter jumping off sides.
Got some numbers now on A.J. Bush. 10 out of 19. 99 yards. Of course, no touchdown. And he's thrown an interception.
Yeah.
Inside run.
That's a nice fit right there by Josh Banderas.
Austin Rose brought down by Banderas, wearing number.
Boy, he gets full side flow, plays the cutback lane nicely, then makes the nice open field tackle. That's an outstanding play. Doesn't show flashy on the highlights, but technically very sound.
Touch and a completion down the right sideline. Kevin Gladney with his first catch.
Look at these mechanics here. Step, deliver, follow through. Bingo. He can see it. He knows what to do. It's can the muscle memory get me there? That's a big boy throw right there. With him, it will be the repetitive reps. What does it feel like to have good mechanics that will allow me to make the type of throws I need to make in this offense? Physically, he's capable of making everything.
Let's head down to Larry, who's standing by with head coach Mike Riley.
Well, Coach, I know it's difficult to evaluate from the field, but what have you seen today that encourages you?
Well, until just recently here, it was pretty clean. You know, procedurally it was pretty clean, and playing football was pretty clean, and there's been some intermittent good plays. But it looks like football, and guys are competing, so, you know, and it's a real mixed bag of how the competition's going, so I like it. I like that part of it.
And you really haven't had live scrimmages much at all this spring camp, so really a first opportunity for you to get a look and for the players as well.
Yeah, this is perfect. You got the big you know, the big setting here with all the people. You got the guys after 14 days of practicing, you know, going on the stage and having to control their emotions and make some plays. Really good stuff for them, I think. So we've had intermittent live periods, but nothing that is close to what we've done today, scrimmage-wise.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Larry. Great job down there. Weather has cooperated for Larry Putney. It could be raining sideways and 35 degrees, but it's not.
And
68 and sunny all afternoon long.
Nice weather couldn't happen to a nicer guy, as I plant my tongue firmly in my cheek.
Oh, another wonderful break on the football, and that'll be an interception. We're coming the other way. Trey Mosley continues to have a nose for the football, and that's the second interception thrown by Bush.
And probably his 7th or 8th of the spring. He has been, they ought to get him for grand larceny. There's a lot of stealing going on. Give me that here. Great break on the ball. Too easy a play for that sound and that good of defensive corner. Got to anticipate getting that out in front if that's where you want to go with the football. Got to drive it. That's not a touch pass.
So the learning curve.
But that's it in a nutshell. That's no disrespect to that young man, but that's kind of what we've heard. He'll show you flashes of brilliance, but it's the consistency that we're after as he gets a little bit of the talking to from Coach Langsdorff. And what he's saying, you can read his lips. If you're going to make that play, that's one that you anticipate delivering. You got to commit to it. I'm going to play catch with him on the spot right there.
Coach Danny Langsdorff, of course, has been with Mike Riley for a long period, but he was not with him last year. Mid-Oregon State had an opportunity to work with the New York Giants and Eli Manning in that quarterback room.
Yeah, you got the sense of talking to him. He was quiet, cool, wasn't he? He was like one of those cool kids on the block that knew a ridiculous amount of football. Those are the guys that I like to try to associate this with. Hopefully somebody could rub off on me. But if you can deal with Manning in New York's environment, you get the sense that he can handle the quarterback battle here in Lincoln.
And part of that quarterback battle, Zach Darlington. He's in the game right now, leading the red side.
I think his arm got hit there. He anticipated the throw. I think they got him on his delivery. He saw that open. Knew right where he wanted to go with that football. I don't believe that one was an arm strength issue.
Yep.
Got him right on the follow-through. That's a good job of being relentless on the pass rush.
Joel Lopez got the penetration. Darlington looks comfortable in the pocket.
Hey, how smart is that? I look front side, I check middle to intermediate, I go backside, just all in sequential succession. That's how you like to see the quarterback spot played.
Actually, one of the first things that we were told by the coaching staff was the check down was actually something that was a bit of an issue so far in spring ball. Guys were looking to try and make the play down the field, but if it wasn't there, having a hard time hitting the check down route.
Yeah, just very little panic. How about it? The beautiful thing about that as you're watching him go through these progressions is the mechanics didn't suffer. The foot tap, foot tap, foot tap, staying rhythmic just like they teach you in quarterback camp.
Inside run. This is Graham Nabity. Nabity's played real good football over the last couple of weeks. Coaching staff, both Langsdorff and the head coach Riley, mentioning him by name the way that he's been playing.
Yeah, what did Coach Langsdorff tell us yesterday? He said he's not real fast, but he's a hammer, he's consistent, and he's slippery in small spaces.
Now go Big Red. 3 quarters in the books here. We still have 20 more minutes of football. A lot of discovery still to be made here in Lincoln, Nebraska. The red-white game.
You get that small jersey? I know you got that big now.
I got that too, man. I got it.
Let's go. How we doing?
Good.
Nice to meet your girlfriend.
Oh, yeah?
Seemed like a nice girl.
Oh, yeah, she's good.
What's she doing with a guy like you? Jared, you feeling good?
Yeah. How you doing, Coach?
Great.
Good. Doing great.
Enjoyed working with you. Appreciate how you came back.
Thank you.
That was awesome. We're just thankful to be here, and we're going to make it good. We're going to make it good. Thanks, Scott. Okay, go get him.
He makes a point of mentioning everyone by their first name, and that's something that is a skill, and it's appreciated. Let me tell you that. Mike Riley is making friends by the bushel here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Darlington still in at the quarterback. Does a great job of waiting for the route to develop, and just a tough chance. Luke McNitt, one of those tight ends looking for action, not able to hang on. Would have been a great catch.
I blame our crack statistician, Gage Peak, who just gave him the kiss of death as we were just talking about McNitt off air. And I told him that I was a fan, but it wasn't because of things like that.
Well, if you're looking for the Minnesota spring football game, you can find that game on BTN to go. Once this draws to a close, we will have the entire Minnesota spring football game right here on BTN, but we still have a running clock and 19 minutes and change remaining here in the red-white game with Nebraska. A lot of things still could happen. We still have quarterbacks we haven't seen. We haven't seen Stanton. We haven't seen Brockmeyer. Here is Riker Fife. We saw him a bit. He's getting an opportunity now to quarterback the white side. Damon Benning, you've been around this program for a long time as a player and as an analyst. How different is this offense going to look from what we've seen in years past?
Well, I think vastly, especially in the passing game. You'll still see some inside-outside zone, but you'll see a lot more of the fly sweep in the run game and some traditional power. But I think the passing game is what will change. A lot of play action, a lot more utilization of the tight end, a little bit more of a pro-style offense.
And defensively, how different is the defense going to look from the standard issue black shirts running around that we've seen in years past?
Well, I think vastly from a philosophy standpoint, you're going to go to a little bit more of a spill style, what we call lever spill style, which Coach Pelini had once employed when he had his brother Carl Pelini here coaching D-line. It was a very successful defense for him. Then they morphed a little bit more into two-gapping, a little bit more read and react. With Coach Banker here now, they want to play downhill. You see a lot of over and under front, one-gapping, really allowing guys to get vertical and be aggressive.
And one thing that will never change with Nebraska football is the walk-on program. Walk-ons have been huge. Riker Fife, one of the walk-ons over the years that has earned playing time. Had a great conversation with Mike Riley. And I was fascinated by the fact that he's a disciple of Bear Bryant. Played down in Tuscaloosa back in the early 70s. And I said, if I watched your team, what would I notice that has a Bear Bryant influence? He said, probably nothing X's and O's, but the way that I treat people. He said, I was a low-level guy. I was a scholarship player, but for the most part, I didn't play a lot. But Bear Bryant treated me like a man, like I was a competent football player. Maybe if I wasn't. This is the coach's words. And he does the same thing. He's got the expanded roster like they used to have back in the 70s when scholarships were unlimited. With all the walk-ons, you got so many different guys. And Mike Riley talks to his players and deals with his players just like the Bear did. Knows everyone's name, knows where they're coming from, a little bit about everyone's backstory, and I think that's going to be something that people are going to really enjoy.
He was great. His closing to that little bit of a soliloquy was, he said, you know what? I think it's important for each of my guys to know that they matter. And those are just things like people say them in theory, and you never know if they're really going to come to fruition. But he seems to be living that out, at least thus far.
Fife in trouble, goes down. Good pressure. Logan Rath in the mix. Nick Stoltenberg also piling on.
Yeah, he's going to be a heck of a player. He's a guy that played defensive end in high school. Still in that 260 range. They've slid him inside a little bit as he started to develop. But one thing he does have is a motor. He is a high-end worker.
How many defensive linemen in Nebraska history haven't had motors? That's what they do. That's Husker football.
Yeah, he's definitely following those footsteps.
Here's Nelson. So some good elusiveness. He's got a chance. What kind of speed you got? He's got enough. Touchdown, Jordan Nelson. That is the first time that the white side able to get into the end zone.
Yeah, that again, I think I can be objective with him, even knowing him so well. That's what he does. First of all, great delivery. The swing pass out of the backfield is not an easy throw for the quarterback to make. But watch Fife put this in a spot where he can run with the catch. And then Jay Nelson does the rest. The little sidestep, the speed down the sideline, the good balance. We know that. And again, see 6 later. The delivery started with the delivery. I can't stress enough how difficult a throw sometimes swing passes are for quarterbacks to throw laterally to give your receiver a chance to catch the ball going forward. Well done.
Now, something to feel good about.
He's a talented player. He'd play at a lot of other programs sooner.
Kickoff cover.
Again, the nice mechanics to set the footwork. It's in space. I'm in rhythm. One of the few tackles in the open field that we haven't seen Coakley make. Or Creighton Coley. I said Coakley. Excuse me. Go play special teams now, young.
Yeah, this is the spring game. Put on that yellow beanie and go run down a kick. Let's check in with Larry Putney. Larry, what do you have down there?
Thanks, Eric. Down here on the field with Nebraska's starting quarterback, Tommy Armstrong Jr. Well, how did it go today for you?
It went well. A lot of things we can improve on. We can get each and every day we can get better. But I feel like we improved a lot by, week 1 of spring ball. So we're looking forward to this offseason, being able to look back on our spring practices and the spring game and improving. But I think from day 1 we got better.
How much different is this offense for you?
It's a lot different. Footwork-wise, being on time, being more corresponding to our receivers. But I feel like it's helping us for the future. It's helping us as quarterbacks, and we're getting better. We have to know our game. We have to know our playbook. We got to be the most vocal guy on the field. And I think it's helping us as a whole when it comes to the quarterback role.
Your offensive coordinator, your quarterback's coach, Danny Langsdorf, what does he bring? How specifically has he helped you?
He's helped me a lot, more knowledge-wise than anything. Just knowing where I need to go with the ball, making sure that I set my guys the right way, being more vocal, being a bigger leader, and just going out there and having fun. And when everything's going the right way, when I know everything, when I need to, get my guys the right way, then I know how to do that. But I know how to do it the right way when it comes to him.
You had a big smile on your face after the end of the first half. Tell me about the safety.
Oh, yeah. We had a miscommunication with me and Coach Langsdorf, because we were trying these little mics in the helmets and stuff like that. So it cuts in, cuts out every once in a while. So all I heard was take a safety. So I'm talking to the offensive line. I'm telling them, hey, he wants us to actually take a safety here. And they're like, what? Are you serious? And I took a safety, and I'm just like, hey, we got to give them some kind of points. Now they got 9. So it was crazy. But, he gave me an earful when I got back in the locker room. But, we're trying that new thing when it comes to those helmets. But it was incredible. But, it happens.
Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it.
That's good stuff. We knew there was probably something going on. We just figured this is not normal, taking a knee in the end zone and giving up the 2. Now we have the real story.
Yeah, now what I think Coach Langsdorf was going to tell him he was kidding. I'm serious. I think Coach Langsdorf did tell him that at one point, but I think he's being facetious.
I really said take the snap safely. And here, take the snap and take it safely.
Well, that too.
All right, we got a new quarterback in. So the wheels are continuing to move. It's Johnny Stanton getting an opportunity for the first time. Johnny Stanton's a guy who came to this program with a lot of ballyhoo. Where's he at right now, in your opinion?
Oh, I think right now he's 5th string. And I think that's safe to say that's the number in which we've seen him. But then again, you look at who he's handing the football to, and that's no slouch either. And we knew that he was going to come and run the football on the red side, but you take a look at Amani Cross, still getting carries with 14 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. No, again, no indictment, just more of a testament to the depth, I believe, that's happening.
You know what, you played in this program and you've been around a long time. We have not been given access to a depth chart, but does one exist? Do the guys know where they stand right now that are on the team?
I don't think so. I think if you're roughly in the 2 deep, you've got an idea, but if you're from 4 looking up, you've got a chance to earn playing time. If I'm a Freedom Akamoladun and I know that I'm on I'm not on that red defense, I know that I very well could play. Right, he can crack that top forward. He can play right away. He's probably been the best pass rusher of the day thus far. So nothing is etched in stone yet.
What's been the tough part for Stanton adjusting to the college game? We mentioned that he was an Elite 11 guy. He was the guy who had an opportunity to play a lot of different places coming out of high school.
I think for him it's been, as he's going through his progressions, he's a big, strong arm guy, but just controlling the range of motion, the mechanics with having a big arm, and then the work ethic. Just being able to do the little things that are asked of quarterbacks from a mechanics and a delivery standpoint off the field that give you a chance to be successful on the field.
Monty Cross still in the game. He was on the white side in the first half, now on the red side. They fake it to him, and this is Stanton carrying it. Stanton showing off some athletic ability.
Now that we know he can do. He's a big physical kid. He can run the football. He's just really struggled with his accuracy in the quarterback department, and a lot will be asked of these quarterbacks in this offense.
We talked about it a little bit in the first half, and I find it amazing. Mike Riley in his offense out at Oregon State last handful of years, he has had Goliaths at quarterback. Sean Canfield, Sean Mannion. They really don't look like any quarterback that's currently on the roster here in Lincoln.
No, that's why I was pleasantly surprised when we got to talk with Coach Langsdorff as long as we did, that two throws. You had Nabity coming out of the backfield there, and you had the skinny post that were able to complete. Those are ones that if you want to make the move, those are the throws that you make. But kind of getting back to that offensive sentiment as we take a look at the replay here. That's a skinny post right over the middle. It's in your sight line. Got to play catch there.
You're not going to check down. You're playing in a spring game. You're trying to make an impression. You're going to go for the downs.
A little bit of a low elbow there caused it to sail on him. With the regards to the offense, it was refreshing to hear Coach Langsdorff say, you know what, we had to go back and study a lot of tape. We went back 10 years. We looked at the Mulvos, the Canfields, the Moores, the Mannions. We compared them to the Fifes, the Armstrongs, the Bush. I will call plays this year that we haven't run in 10 years. So you got the sense once he says that
they're going to adapt to what they have.
Absolutely. Just like he was talking about the offensive run game in the install. He says, I've got 5 concept plays. I've got inside zone, I've got outside zone, I've got power, I've got draw and fly sweep. And a given practice, it might take us 3 days to install inside zone or outside zone because I need to see if we've got a running back that can put his foot in the ground. So he's willing to adjust to what his talent is, even though conceptually he knows what he wants to do. For me, that's pretty impressive.
3rd down and 9. Red team trying to stay on the field offensively. There's the dump down, and the pass is picked off. Oh, good hands by the lineman Garrett Johns.
Good for that young man. That's a spring ball moment. Playing hard, following the screen. What do they teach you? You don't feel any pressure, retrace your steps. He retraced his steps, gets back down to the screen game, and makes the play. Let's see where this ball was delivered. Oh, that's one Taylor's got to have. Not perfect, but plenty catchable. You got to make that play. Full head of hair. Do you guys see the same stylist? You guys with those pretty locks.
You know, that may change come summer workouts. I don't know if you want that extra blanket when you're out here in 95 degrees.
Now, those guys don't mind how they smell or how they look. He's getting it done.
And another new quarterback coming in. This is going to be Tyson Brockmeyer. Brockmeyer, the senior from Aurora. Hands off, just trying to get his feet wet.
Handing off to a pretty good tailback again. Another one of those tailbacks that could be playing at some other schools. Austin Rose, a Lincoln native, comes from good stock.
North Star. Lincoln North Star.
Good tailback, good size.
Gabe Ron with that catch.
Get a good idea of what Nebraska's trying to do offensively in their passing game. From a concept standpoint, it's layered. It's high to low. It's not sideline to sideline. It is end zone to line of scrimmage. So if quarterbacks can get an understanding of that, there's some options there from high to low.
Nice run here. Get an open field. Austin Rose again.
He's got those huge tree trunks for legs, so he's thinking to himself, why do I let a guy get to my legs? But nice run as he gets downhill. He's a sneaky load. Once he gets those shoulders square, this is great camera work by our folks here. Watch him right in your kitchen. This is 3D, good pad level. I tell you, Coley just makes plays. Coley just makes, he just makes plays.
Brockmeyer heading to the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown. Again, Jariah Tolbert showing you why he's got a chance to be a big deal.
He is a heck of a physical specimen. You throw it where he can go get it, and he's going to give you a chance to make a play. He's a big kid. Watch him working one-on-one. He's the X. He's the boundary receiver. You're going to get single coverage.
Tolbert working against Eric Lee. Eric Lee having his welcome to college moment. This is a guy who should be prepping for a senior prom, yet he's trying to D up one of the best bodies on this Nebraska football team. And Tolbert wins the battle.
A great throw. Put that in a place that only his guy can get it.
Well, going for it, and the pass sails high. Or winning the ESPY is the moment of the year.
Gosh, you got to take the ESPY, don't you? And Jack's such a shy kid.
You get a chance to meet the president.
For me, it would be the president. But do you think kids that age understand the magnitude of the president?
Sure. Brandon Riley still in the game and showing off a burst, getting out to midfield on that kickoff return.
Yeah, when you're on special teams and you're trying to win a job, even though you're in the fourth quarter, that's probably only the third or fourth return. So it's just like being fresh. Get him, big fella. He's such a good athlete. Big kid. They tease him about his pretty boy swag.
Well, they gave us a number. 76,881 Husker fans shoehorned in here to Memorial Stadium.
Is that all?
And a lot of places around the country. Let me tell you something.
That's
a lot
capacity.
Of places around the country, they just open the gates. Yeah. Come on in if you want. Stop by for a minute or two. It's free of charge. They actually charge a couple of bucks to come here, and still 76,000 people said, you know what, this is where I want to be on a Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely. For a couple of schools in the Big Ten, that's a couple of Saturdays in November when you're talking about 76K. Look at that.
Oh, my. This is just an inter-squad scrimmage, and guys are hitting it.
Yeah, make them go boom.
Well, Tolbert's okay. He scored a touchdown a moment ago. Now he's being looked at on the sideline.
If you're a white defensive player right there, that's a tough cross to bear. That's a hammer being dropped on you right there with Amani on that carry.
Now we're still getting a look at Johnny Stanton. What will the next couple of months? Oh, wide open man, and the pass is too strong. Stanton had Ty Betka, had him wide open, and he just couldn't get it there.
Those are just passes you can't miss. If you're Stanton right now, you take a look at the delivery here. See again, a lot of it is mechanics. The low elbow causes that ball to sail. And it's kind of slung out there instead of delivering it. If you're Stanton, you got to take a deep breath real quick. Take a deep breath. Understand you still got 7 minutes and some change to play here, and stay with it. Don't get down on yourself. A lot of plays left.
Damon, paint the picture for me. Next couple of months for the players first, and then the coaching staff. What did the next couple of months look like here for this Husker program?
Well, I think right now you get a good idea of what Mark Phillip and those guys in the strength and conditioning want to do. What do I need to work on? Where's my body type? Where do they want me? That sets the stage for the off-season conditioning as you ramp up for fall, because you don't want to go into fall trying to get to a playing weight or trying to get in shape. You just want to be able to own your craft. If you're the coaching staff, you're going to go back, you're going to cut the tape up, you're going to reevaluate. We like this, we're going to keep it. We don't like this, we're going to scrap it. We really like this, so we're going to put this in this fashion. And so it's kind of a procedural deal while you're building the house to see just where you want to live come that opener against BYU.
In terms of building up bodies, the sense that you're getting from the coaching staff, are we talking about huge road graders? Are we talking about jackrabbits? Are we talking about technicians? What type of player are they looking for at certain spots?
I think right now for Coach Kavanaugh, if you're talking about up front, he's looking to get back to more of that grader type. He loves athleticism, but he's predicated himself early on as a guy that wants to be physical. So regardless of what your body type is, I think he wants you to be explosive from hand to hip. When you go to put your hands on that D-line, he wants good snap and good pop. So that's going to be first and foremost. Where's my quick twitch? They'll worry about the body type later.
Another look for Tyson Brockmeyer. Brockmeyer did some good things his first time with the football, led a touchdown drive. Tommy Armstrong, Jr., did not disappoint. Played the bulk of the first half. He's still solid in your book as the opening day starter when September 5 rolls around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you take a look at what happened in the scrimmage, the guy that you feel like could give you, as we take a look at Dedrick Young right there, the guy that could give you a chance after Armstrong may not be Bush, it may be Darlington, but if you're Tommy Armstrong, you feel pretty good about what you did today.
Oh, good pass. Brockmeyer whistles it in, and the catch is made by Gabe Ron. Second catch for Ron.
That's a good player he made a catch on. I really like Boaz Joseph. He's played really well at the corner. He's physical. You just got to get that head turned around, and the subtle left arm, you get the chance to make the catch. That's a teardrop. He dropped that in the bucket.
Delayed handoff, wrap around to Rose.
Good job of handling that low snap for Brockmeyer. Guys right now got to understand, first and foremost, regardless of what the time is on the clock, you have to make the most of your snaps. So when you're rolling tape and they cut out all your plays and it goes on huddle and everybody's taking a look at it.
You're not allowed to say, well, it was the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter?
Those are still your plays. You've got to own those. So maximizing here to the finish is going to be important.
Looking for glory again. The hand fighting on the edge. No flag coming down. Looking.
Eric Lee Jr., another pup out there in coverage that's got a chance to be really, really good. A highly touted DB. He had 11 or 12 on scholarship here at the cornerback spot for Nebraska. These reps are important.
Brady Pelzer in the route, but Eric Lee on the coverage. Brockmeyer upset with himself. Eric Lee, Avery Anderson, Dedrick Young, and Aaron Williams, the four guys who still could be in high school, yet they committed to getting rid of their second half of their senior year in high school and playing spring ball and getting early in the mix here with Coach Riley.
And if I had to call my shot, I would tell you that Aaron Williams will be the one to play. He's going to play probably a little bit ahead of Lee and Anderson just because he's such a smart kid. He's the first off the bench to play in their nickel package when they installed it last week, and he's played some traditional corner too. So he's the guy that of the three was probably the least highly touted. But like you said, when you make the commitment to come early, you give yourself a chance to play.
A lot of times when you go program to program, when you see the guys who are early entrants, if they're defensive backs or running backs, they get a chance to play. It seems like picking up what college teams are trying to do is easiest for the guys furthest away from the ball when the ball is snapped.
Yeah, good call right there. And it's it's two positions, a lot that's predicated on ability. So if you can play, you can play. A lot of times age is not a prerequisite. And for those guys where you're isolated and you get a chance to be viewed, it's easier sometimes to showcase your talents. We can't sleep on Dedrick either. He's a young hammer that's got to play at that real spot that they're going to give every opportunity to win a job to.
Another broad stroke question for you, but you've had a chance to see the majority of the 14 spring practices. Is the offense further along or the defense further along in terms of what Mike Riley wants?
The defense is a lot further along, but I will tell you, from what I thought that I was going to see today, the offense has been better than I would have guessed. I did not expect much on offense from either squad. I'm a little bit shocked that they were able to get it going after what I saw the majority of the spring.
Graham Navity with another carry. I'm actually going to take it a step further. The furthest along of anyone is not the offense or the defense, it's Sam Foltz. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he might have been the best player on the field today, which isn't an indictment. He's an all-America caliber punter.
Clear some room off the mantle for that eventual Ray Guy award. He had a day today.
And he's in a long list of a lot of great kicking that's happened at Nebraska.
Well, we talked about it in the first half. How about look at this GoPro helmet cramp that we saw. This is first half action. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, those.
That take you back to your playing days, David?
Yeah, too much so with this old body. There's a lot going on in 3D right there.
Helmet strapped on with a GoPro, and oh my goodness, this comes from Husker Vision. Our thanks to them, but my goodness, there's some power and speed that you're looking at.
High-speed collisions. Guys like DPE.
How about this? Get yourself a punt.
Oh, that's awesome. He gets to see the double leg firsthand. Look at Foltz.
Oh, we didn't even see Foltz wagging the finger at him.
Let him know then, 308.
Now the game continues. We have exactly 2 minutes remaining. Here in our fourth quarter, Navity continues to play hard.
He's a good tailback. He's been resilient, and he's got enough ability where he's going to get an opportunity.
Navity, a rising junior from Omaha. Another chance for him. I will say that what we've heard the coaches rail about, it's come to fruition. Everyone's got a chance.
Yeah.
Everyone's new in the eyes of the coaching staff. Everyone's going to get a look, and they have so far today. Virtually every guy who's on either side has gotten a reasonable opportunity this afternoon.
And if you wanted a chance to get on camera, we thought 20 minutes running clock. We were like, whoa, that's a lot of time. But just think for some of these guys that it's late in the fourth quarter and in the third quarter, it proved to maybe not be enough time.
You know what? That's a great point. A lot of these coaches, they don't want to give injury to be a possibility at all. They don't want to play 4 15-minute quarters, let alone 4 20-minute quarters. But Mike Riley and his guys saying, you know what? I got a lot of guys I want to evaluate. Let's give everyone a shot. And we need the 80 minutes to get it done.
And outside of Byerson Cockrell, haven't seen anything really substantial from the injury front either.
How about that? Celebrating his first win. The Gatorade bath. Technically, I guess it's the first win and the first loss for Coach Riley.
First tie for Coach Riley. No winners in the...
Yeah, Tommy Armstrong's a smart kid. Be the first with the towel.
Armstrong is a big kid, isn't he, when you see him up close?
Listed at 220 pounds.
He's every bit of it, too.
One last chance for glory. Damon Benning, what do you got here?
I'm going to the end zone in some capacity. Going to see how. We want to close with a score. You're on the 11-yard line. Maybe a fade? That might be too low. Too high risk, too low reward on a fade. Get it to the end zone, though.
The next time we will see these Cornhuskers playing a football game, it'll be right here, Memorial Stadium, September 5th. BYU will open the season here in Lincoln. BYU, South Alabama, then a road game against the Miami Hurricanes, home again against Southern Miss, and then an 8-game conference slate that begins on the road against Illinois. It'll be a lot of fun for Nebraska football and the optimism heading into this year.
BYU is huge. Nebraska doesn't lose non-conference home openers. There's the fade route.
Almost a circus catch in the corner of the end zone. And we still have 3 ticks. Nope. Clock is going to continue to wind, and that will do it. The game is over. Congratulations to the Cornhuskers finishing off a spring practice relatively free of injury. Sure hope you enjoyed it. From a partner, Damon Benning and Larry Putney, I'm Eric Collins saying so long. Right now, let's keep it going. Let's send it to Minnesota for the Gopher spring game.